Warning: the activities that you are about to witness are performed by real mouse coordinators and youth. Each relies on spirited enthusiasm, a do-it-yourself attitude, and a willingness to hack, modify, and make it your own.
This is an activity called Break and Build Hardware. It's part of the Hardware Hero badge on mousesquad.org. It will take 30 minutes to an hour and is best for squads learning the basics of how hardware helps computers work. This activity lets students get their hands dirty on real computer guts, learning about essential parts and how to fix them. For this activity, you will need an old desktop computer for each group. Ideally, the computers will be old enough that they are no longer used, but still able to turn on. It can also be helpful to use a small container to hold screws and other small items. You may also need a screwdriver or other tools from your mouse kit, depending on the type of computers you are opening. Lastly, you'll need one copy of the record-keeping chart for each group. You can find that on this activity's plan page on mousesquad.org. Do not use any essential computers for this activity. If you don't have any old computers, your community is a great place to start looking for donations. Clear a large space so that students can move around the computer and keep parts organized. Then, have students form groups of about 3 to 6 around each computer. Now, you're ready to get started.
We are the Mouse Squad of 161.
Before opening the computers, make sure to go over computer repair safety.
There's a lot of sharp parts inside. We want to make sure not to poke ourselves or just move too quickly because you might cut yourself on a sharp part, so just be careful. We clean the computers out beforehand to make sure that there's not too much dust, but because they're old computers, there's still going to be some dust inside. The third thing is, before you start touching the computers on the inside, you usually want to ground yourself. Does anybody know what we mean by ground yourself? Yep.
So we won't get shocked when we're taking apart the computer.
Before students open the computer, have them review the parts on their record-keeping chart.
Some things are listed, some things aren't listed. If there are parts that aren't listed, just put them on the bottom section. And it's just to help you keep your ideas organized and figure out what parts are doing what inside the computer, and we're going to ask you some questions about it at the end. Now we're ready to take apart the computers. The cases will open if you just turn the switch on the back. If anything feels like you have to force it, just stop and raise your hand and I'll help you try to figure out how to take the part out.
Once students have removed all parts, ask each student or each group to identify one part and explain what it does.
So what part is this?
This is the DVD drive.
Mm-hmm. How did you take it out of the computer?
You just push a part and push it, and then it comes out. And
Mm-hmm.
then you just pull it apart from right here.
And how did you take out these sticks of RAM?
I had to pull 2 levers from each side, and then once you pull them out, the RAM should release.
Even if students don't know what a part is called or what it does, it's useful to ask them to think about what it might do.
And do you know why there are 2 cords for the hard drive?
Yeah, this goes to the modular power supply that's in the computer.
Mm-hmm.
That's in the computer that powers it.
And what does the blue one do?
The blue one do? I think one of these, I don't know, but one of these, I think it goes to the CPU.
When students have identified all the parts, have them replace them inside the computer and make sure to connect all the cables. If students replaced everything correctly, the computer will turn on again. Whether or not the computer turns on, it's important to go over what students learned.
Today I actually learned how to take apart a complex electronic device.
Today, I learned that the motherboard is like the stomach of the computer, which holds all the guts, or you could call the components.
It's a good idea to discuss which parts that were identified can be upgraded.
I'm mostly a gamer, so the most important part of playing video games is the RAM.
If you have more advanced students who can already identify all the parts, try leveling up this activity using the Tic-Tac-Toe board on mousesquad.org. In this version, students compete to see who can correctly fill up their board the fastest, placing each part on the board on top of the description of what the part does. You can edit your own board to have specific parts and peripherals for more advanced students with different machines.